Apple kills the password in iOS 16 and macOS Ventura. So the password's not dead, but it's, I guess, in the death throes. It sounds like Apple is looking to replace passwords with pass keys. From what I understand, it's made up of a key pair, a public and private key. So it's like a password, but it's really, really strong and hard to break, I guess. But I guess the server never learns what your private key is. It only knows the public key, but it can still verify whether you're using the right private key. Maybe you can explain that to me, because I don't understand.
Yeah, Apple had a lot of announcements this week, because they had their big September 7th event, the Far Out event. This was an iPhone event, and normally we get some good stuff out of these, like when they release a new Mac OS or whatever. This time it was just new iPhones, and they're, I don't know, the same as the old iPhones. But one of the big features that people are excited about in iOS 16 is the support for passkeys. And I say iOS 16, it's not just limited to the phones. It's coming to Mac OS, and they've worked really hard to follow the FIDO Alliance standards, which means this is coming to everything. Any web page or application that needs authentication can leverage passkeys like this. And Apple's not the only one working on it. A number of big companies are in the FIDO Alliance, like Google, Microsoft, obviously Apple. And so we're going to see more and more products from them supporting passkeys like this. Some password managers like KeePass made an announcement saying that they will be supporting passkeys as well. This gets really confusing. KeePass, passkey, passwords, all blurs together. But the technology is really super slick. It's actually, and Daniel, you probably think the same. It's actually a lot like SSH when you do certificate authentication.
Yeah, really cool. Basically, you just say, hey, I've got my private key, you've got my public key, so all I got to do is encrypt something. You can verify I am who I am because you can decrypt it with my private or my public key.
Yeah, and the best part is that private key never crosses the network ever. So what's significant here for Apple is that you generate that private key on your phone, and it goes into the secure enclave that's a part of the
that thing that Apple uses.
Well, the A15, A16 processors, they have a security chip on them that I've forgotten the name of, but it creates a secure enclave, and that's where the private key gets stored. And when you go to a server to authenticate, the server has your public key. So you have a public key that you distribute, and you don't care if anybody out there gets your public key. Anybody in the world can get it. Who cares?
Hold on, Don. Is that why they call it a public key?
It is. Shocking.
Holy crap.
And the public key only allows you to encrypt data. It doesn't allow you to decrypt data. So the server can create a challenge. And the challenge can be simple as like, what's 1 + 4?
Right.
It can be whatever, right? And then it encrypts it with your public key and sends it to you. You would be the only one who could decrypt that to see the challenge, answer it, and respond. And so now they know that it's you. So it's a really neat system. It's not new by any means. Like I said, SSH has been doing this for 20 years. It's just that we're now seeing it where there's a framework built around it, and vendors can start to support it. Apple is obviously pushing really hard for it for a number of reasons, but we will see more and more adoption of this coming down the line. Microsoft has already said they're going to support it. Google's already working on it. Another number of other vendors are as well. So it'll be really cool. The nice feature to me, though, is that they're working on a process to help with signing up, like creating a new account on a site, where potentially you don't have to give that site any of your information, no email address or anything. You just generate a private key locally, send a public key up to them. That becomes your identity, and then off you go. You have total control of the data you share.
Now, Don, is there going to be, it seems like this is specific to certain things like web applications. Obviously, this is amazing. This works really well. But what about like my local machine? Are we going to start seeing that? Are there always going to be those certain spaces where the password is king and you just can't really utilize something like this?
Well, Microsoft has already laid the groundwork for this in Windows with the Windows Hello system. And so it has a lot of compatibility with the FIDO Alliance. They haven't gone all the way. Like, you can't log into Windows with just your YubiKey, for example. Right. So you have to have more. The system they're working on is kind of neat, where they have it where the application on your computer can display a QR code. And then you take your phone and you scan the QR code, and then the phone will connect with Bluetooth to the computer to then transmit the acceptance.
We talked
and
about
say
this,
aloud
didn't
in.
we? This sounds familiar.
I don't recall.
I thought we did.
The Bluetooth piece is important because if I generate a QR code, like somebody could be scanning that remotely. It could be a
Right.
fake code or whatever, but the Bluetooth connection wouldn't be there if it was remote or
Right.
if it was a false.
So it has
QR
to be
code.
paired along with the QR, so kind of almost giving us some sort of multi-factor kind of thing.
So they are thinking about it in terms of desktop applications, and they are, this is beyond just Apple. This is something we'll see over the next couple of years start to roll out in apps everywhere.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty significant. I kind of wonder sometimes for like the average person on the street, they probably don't care.
Yeah.
It's like an extra level of complexity, but it'll actually make life easier. Do either of you, or Sophie, do you use like Apple Pay or Google Pay?
Yeah, I use Apple Pay from time to time.
You're an Apple person. So when you do Apple Pay, you go up to a gas station, whatever, you tap your phone, and that does, or if you have an Apple Watch, you do it that way. A lot of people don't know this, but when you have a credit card attached to Apple Pay, when you go and do a payment, it's not actually transmitting your card number. It generates a unique card number for that individual transaction every time you do it, and it's invisible to you, so you don't realize it. If somebody were to steal that credit card number, it doesn't matter because it was only good one time, and that's the only time it was used. They can't
And that
do
one
anything
time
with
is
it.
over.
Yeah.
And so it's something that most people probably don't care about, but it really bumps their security up to the next level.
Yeah, there's definitely been, especially like you said, at gas stations, even at gas pumps where they've got now you can use Apple Pay as opposed to a card. I've known people that will, well, that's not secure. I'd rather just use my card. But it would be more secure to use Apple Pay in that instance, right? Because
Yes.
they've
With
got
all the
what?
time you spend at gas stations, that would be
me
really good for you.
specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Supplemental. Yeah, you gotta panhandle where you can.
Yeah, that's right. Where's Sophia? Oh,
My
there she
standards
is.
are low.
Man, she's washing windshields at the gas pumps.
The bar is low.
Got to get that Four Loko money.
If you enjoyed that segment, be sure to check out our entire podcast available in the playlist right here. And you can always subscribe to stay up to date with the latest tech news and other happenings in the IT world. Be sure to tune in every Thursday for new episodes. I hope to see you there.